May I be of service?
Fourth set, Best versus Plucky Hero HoeJJa on Ground Zero. I'm the best around. Something. Except, up at the 2 o'clock position in white is Best. That means over at the 10 o'clock position in teal is Plucky Hero HoeJJa. Best versus Zerg is greatly improved this season, which kind of leads me to believe that 2012 might actually be the apocalypse. It's strange to see Best doing so well against Zerg, because remember those OSL finals? I sure do. Okay, I guess that wasn't completely fair. Yeah, to show Best's competency against Zerg. That wasn't the best barometer for that, I don't think. It is final versus July I'm talking about in 2008. A lot of people list that as their favorite OSL final, which looking back, it's not actually that great of a final. It was kind of a blowout. It was a good example of a player coming in with a planned builds and executing those very good, exploiting everything about the map. But it wasn't that great of a final. Maybe the third set. The third set was quite good. But the other two, maybe. But HoeJJa, just now putting down his spawning pool. HoeJJa he did great at the end of last season. He was a major factor in KT Rolster winning last season's Pro League. That's when he kind of awoke at the end of that season. He was winning all kinds of games for his team, including in the finals. Before that, maybe not so much. He's always been a pretty good player, kind of middle of the road, very good. I think most people remember him for when he first popped onto the scene, out of his egg and went. When he first came onto the scene, I think most people remember his burrowing builds on the map, Destination specifically. Destination was his map. That was the HoeJJa map. Because, he came up with some excellent burrowed zergling strategies for that. Burrowed right next to the tiny mineral patches, protecting the choke. He would burrow right next to those, pull all of his zerglings up at the same time, and some of them would be able to glitch their way through and pick off probes, which was just genius. I think that's when I started calling him the Plucky Hero, by the way. Is there Crisco in his hair? Interesting. Anyway, so HoeJJa just put down his natural expansion photon cannon coming up. For Best, he's going to throw down his Nexus right now. There we go. Thanks for not making me a liar. Yeah, but HoeJJa did well at the end of last season. This season, not so much. I think he's won one game this season, so he might be in a bit of a slump. But I've heard, maybe it was HoeJJa, but I remember, I think it was Violet, a KT player, saying that the reason they went into a slump is because they have to play Flash all the time. And they can't win against Flash, so they don't end up learning anything. So they just go into a slump, which is why they don't actually like practicing against Flash, even though he's the best player, because they can't win. They try strategies and none of them work, so they don't know which ones are actually effective, because he's freaking Flash. Oh well. And I'm sure the same thing is going on with HoeJJa. I also enjoyed HoeJJa on Now Raw's series, Old Boy. He made for a very good episode of that. I'll have to find that series, track that series down. But here comes the probe, trying to stay in there with its little minerals, playing keep away. You can't have my minerals, stay away from me. Yeah. So the Zergling's coming close to taking down that probe, however. So I don't think Best is going to be able to stay in long enough to see if the Spire comes up or anything. There's a lair. And it seemed to be standard opening for both. Looking over here, HoeJJa already put down his base down here at the 8 o'clock position. There's that third base coming up right now. Standard opening. There's a cybernetic core for Best. Oh, Best. Yeah, I think I've actually mentioned it before. I was getting ready to talk about how disappointing of a player Best is sometimes to watch, but it sounds very familiar in my mind. I think I've actually mentioned it before. Sorry, Best. Best. And I'm glad I'm not that big of a Best fan, because if I were, I would pull my hair out in those finals. Not just talk about the OSL finals, the Pro League finals as well. When he can get such a big lead and blow it. Pulling my hair out already. Maybe that's why I'm starting to go bald. Alright. Here's the Citadel of Adun for best, and I saw the Stargate coming up for him. So he's starting to tech up. Right now, Spire coming up for HoeJJa, so I'm not going to try a Hydraless push or anything like that. Not too early, anyway. And, yeah, Plucky Hero HoeJJa will have to be a Plucky Hero in this game, because if he doesn't win, his team's going to lose. And probably lose some crucial footing in the upper tier of the Pro League. Since, as I mentioned in the first set, I think, basically have 3 teams fighting it out right now. Circling each other at the top, and those top 3 CGNtists, KT and SKT. Oh, it looks like a rally point mistake there from HoeJJa. He sent his drone off to the battlefield. That was a mistake. He had his rally point set to that position on the high ground next to the natural, and his drone went along for the ride. Have to be a little bit more careful there. Okay, let's see what happens once the Spire comes up. And another hatchery coming up for HoeJJa, so this is a standard opening. He's going to start pumping those Hydras soon. I think the second Stargate coming up for best, so he's going to try to take that air superiority pretty quick. Right quick. He has a cannon already protecting his main. Has a cannon inside the main, just in case. This should be a Mutilus build from HoeJJa, which I don't think it is going to be, since I saw those extra hatcheries coming up. There's some speedy Zerglings running through the middle of the map, looking for things to snipe the Bisu and Flash, who will not be facing each other in an ace match, since there are no ace matches. Makes me kind of sad. I do miss the ace match a bit, because it would always make for epic battles like that. Bisu versus Flash. You're almost guaranteed an epic battle in an ace match. But I also kind of like their new formats. Very interesting. And it's showing which are the more balanced teams. I'm surprised that SKT has been up there, but they have great players too. That's Dark Templar sneaking out. Burrowed Zerglings at the front. I was just mentioning the burrowing from HoeJJa. Looks like he heard me from across the world back in time. And started burrowing his Zerglings here at the front for a sneak attack. But the Dark Templar is going to try to sneak up here. A lot of Corsairs coming in, so the Overlords might be taken down. There's only one Overlord left to get the vision, so he's got to take out... Oh, the Overlord goes down, so the Dark Templar is going to have a field day here. HoeJJa smartly burrowing his drones to keep his drones out of harm's way. Usually a Protoss, not a Protoss, but a Zerg player will go for a burrowing strategy against a Corsair Reaver build. That's what it's most effective against, but it's helping out HoeJJa here. He's only lost a couple of drones at each base, just burrowing the rest, and he has those burrowed Zerglings at the front for the sneak attack later. But yep, the drones pop back up, go back to work. And some more Dark Templar are moving out, however, for best, as he's just skirting around the skies looking for Overlords to snipe. He's going to have an extremely powerful Corsair army soon. I'm pretty sure he was... Oh, he's building a lot of cannons at the front because he knows his ground defenses, his ground troops are not that heavily saturated right now. He put down the second Stargate, so he focused a lot on the Corsairs. So he wants to be prepared in case of a Hydraless attack at the front, which should be coming soon from HoeJJa, fairly soon. He's already grouping up, amassing Hydras. Another Overlord's going to go down right quick. And those Corsairs might actually have the +1 upgrade already. I'm pretty sure the best would be upgrading that, but he's getting out his High Templar, awful lot of cannons at the front. And so far, these burrowed Zerglings haven't been able to do anything yet. If Best moves out and lands on top of those Zerglings, I think the Zerglings would help out a lot with picking off High Templar. If he does have the presence of mind to focus in on certain units, picking off the High Templar would probably be the best bet with that kind of army composition. But there is HoeJJa protecting his Overlords. He won't be able to move out quite yet until he has his Overlord speed. He's kind of grouping here next to his burrowed Zerglings, but I saw he had the Overlord speed, so he has the Overlord speed. He'll be able to be much more aggressive now with his attacks. It'll be easier to run back to the Hydras with his Overlords, rather than having them just kind of poking around. There's another Overlord going down at the 8 o'clock position, but I don't think there was a Dark Templar there to follow up with that. But HoeJJa will want to keep one Overlord at each base, even if they keep getting picked off like this. Okay, some Hydras getting stormed off the face of the earth. I think they were on hold position there, and got majorly stormed at the front. So Best, he's sneaking in here. He's sneaking into this base. No Overlord at this base. At the... Oh, HoeJJa finds... How did HoeJJa find that so quickly? Man, he saw the glitch on the map and immediately burrowed. Excellent star sense from him. Excellent to stay mindful of his drones and his bases. But his hatchery is still in jeopardy. He's got to get an Overlord down there soon, because Dark Templar are extremely powerful, and it could definitely take down this hatchery. Oh, man. So the Best is grouping up inside of his main, I see, with a pretty large ground force. He's going to move out soon with High Templar. This base might go down. Overlord getting closer. Oh, I'm not sure if this Overlord is going to be in time. Oh my god, the hatchery isn't red. Here comes the Overlord. Moving in. A couple more shots will do it. And the base goes down with only a second to spare. And now the Zergling trap is sprung, and he is going for the High Templar. Very smart of HoeJJa. Takes down the critical High Templar. So now all that Best has left are the Zealots on the ground, and probably a couple of additional High Templar in the back, ready to come up. And there's another Zergling trap ready to be sprung at near the center of the map. But now that HoeJJa has lost a critical base down here at the 8 o'clock, things are not going well for him. He's going to have to be much more aggressive with his attacks. He's grouping up outside of his natural expansion, is trying to keep his Overlords safe, I think. Keep his Overlords away from those freaking things. And so burrowed Zerglings up at the 12 o'clock position are going to keep that Nexus from coming up for a while, at least until an observer comes in and changes things there. But now HoeJJa is starting to focus more of his attention and energy, his Attenergy, at the natural expansion here. He's moving up, trying to draw the High Templar out so he can snipe more of them. Looks like it's not quite working out for him yet, though. Best try not falling for that yet. He's storming. Oh, came in with the observer, and I think he stormed on top of the burrowed Zerglings. Yikes. So some lurkers coming in now for HoeJJa. He's got to get close there. He can't let all of his troops... Oh, he accidentally burrowed his Hydras, I think. I don't think he meant to do that at all. I think he just grouped up and... Oh, what a slaughter. What a slaughter. The lurkers going down fairly quickly, and I don't think he meant to burrow his Hydralisk there. I think he just meant to burrow those lurkers. So that was kind of a failed attack. And I'm not even sure if he's rebuilding that 8 o'clock. I don't see the hatchery. No, he's just doing distance mining, basically, from another hatchery he had down at the 8 o'clock. So apparently HoeJJa is wanting to end this thing soon and not focus too much on his economy. It's going to be difficult to do that, though. Even with this many Hydras, he's got to take out those High Templar. He does snipe one excellent snipe from HoeJJa, but he doesn't have enough Hydras to really back it up. And now Best... Excellent macros, monster macros starting to kick in, and things could get very ugly soon. Oh, a huge storm on top of a big grouping of Hydras. Yeah, things are going to get very ugly for HoeJJa now. He's trying to morph some lurkers, which are being destroyed. The eggs are smashed inside the middle of the map. So really, HoeJJa is running out of options now, especially considering Best is expanding at the 12 o'clock position. Oh man, here comes some... These Overlords might actually have troops in them for dropping purposes. Not sure why else they would be moving up to that position, as Best is trying to attack your huge army. Best has a huge army bearing down on the natural expansion for... Yeah, HoeJJa, look at this. Huge difference in the amount of troops on the ground for both. That's it. GG from HoeJJa. Fell to the Dark Templar. And didn't quite manage to make those burrowed Zerglings worth it. He was able to snipe a couple of High Templar, but it's really not quite enough to make the burrow research worth it. Nicely done by SKT. Well, this has been Nuke. I will be back for more commentary soon. See you guys later.